Hey guys, Christina here, and today I wanted to share an update on what we've been reading in our homeschool as well as in our home. So welcome, like I said, I'm Christina. I'm a homeschooling and homesteading mom to 5 children in the Canadian Maritimes. My children are between the ages of 7 and 16 right now, so that's grades 2 all the way through grade 11. And we do read alouds as a family. We enjoy read alouds. So the last update I did was in November, and I thought it was time to do another update. I will put timestamps for you because I'm going to share some books my kids recommend at the end of this video. So I was sharing last time, I'm pretty sure I talked about this, that we were listening to Watership Down. We finished listening to it, and it was just not our favorite book. We ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. I kind of pushed through the book. We really weren't enjoying it, but I was like, let's just get through, because there's got to be something. There's got to be, I don't know what I was expecting, but you hear all these things about themes and layers, and that just wasn't our experience. It just wasn't our favorite book. I don't think I would read it again. I don't think I'd even recommend it to anyone. Perhaps if you were doing like a study and you were looking at those themes in depth and looking at like similarities and differences and comparing to different governments or systems or whatever, then maybe. But otherwise, we were just not a fan. So then we moved on to this book here, Viking Princess by Mary Ruth Reed. Give you a look inside. This is a book about a girl who really wants to go hunting with her dad and her brother, but she's not able to, and she ends up kind of accidentally ending up on a boat, a Viking boat, and going to Vinland. And it's her experience and her adventure basically doing this. It just wasn't my favorite book. I feel like it was okay, but I feel like there's got to be better books out there kind of with the same theme or the same topic. My 10-year-old daughter did really enjoy it, but she's the only one, so we gave it 2 out of 5 as well. Sorry, book. There's just got to be better options out there. And then we moved on to I Was There, Viking Invasion. Step back into the fight for York. So this is 867 is when this takes place. It's a really short book, really simple read. And it was interesting. It clarifies like one particular time, one particular battle. But again, I felt like it was just so basic. Perhaps if it was just for younger children and you just wanted to kind of talk about this event, or you just had younger children, it just didn't capture the attention of the older kids or myself, really. So we gave it a 2 as well. No, a 3. Sorry, we gave this one a 3. So it had some value, like historical value and educational value, but it was just kind of meh, honestly. Then it was Christmas time. And so we did The Family Under the Bridge, which is a story about a homeless man who lives in Paris under a bridge, and 3 children and their mother who become homeless just before the holidays. And it's a story that is very unusual. They mention Santa Claus, but it's not, and it's a Christmas book, but it's not like Christmas focused per se. I'm trying to think like how to describe it. It's unusual is all I can think of. They have some words and some terminology and stuff that we don't use anymore. So if that's an issue, you may want to pre-read it. But it's a story about friendship and about life and family. So it's a good book. It's just a little different than kind of anything I've ever read in terms of kids' books before. So we gave it a 4 out of 5. And then I wanted to do a Christmas audiobook. So I narrowed it down to like 4 options, and I let my kids decide. And they ended up choosing The Boy Who Slept Through Christmas by Matt Lucas. And one of the things that was unique about this audiobook was that it had songs in it. And we've listened to some audiobooks before. Echo is one I can think of that has like some music in it. But this was different. We did not finish this book. And it's like a 9.5-hour book, I think, to listen to. We listened through just past 7 hours. And then we said, no more. So it's the story of a boy whose mom has passed away, and it's the first Christmas that the family's having without the mom. And this boy is trying to carry on all the traditions and to take on everything that his mom did. And it's about like the struggle and the frustration he has, and all these kind of funny, crazy things that happen. But then he ends up apparently sleeping through Christmas. And he wants to go to Santa to, I guess, go back in time to bring back Christmas Day because he didn't want to miss Christmas Day because he loves Christmas. By hour 7, he had not started his trip to find Santa yet. So we were all just kind of like waiting and waiting, and I felt like it was just too long-winded. The songs were like long songs. The dialogue was all very long. I think it could have been condensed down at least a quarter of what it was. So we didn't finish it. And part of it is maybe we were sick at the time and we were just ready for Christmas and ready for a break, but nobody really wanted to finish it. If you have finished this book, let me know. Do we need to go back and finish it? Like, am I missing something big by not finishing it? I still have it in my Audible account, so maybe at some point we'll pick it back up. Let me know if I should, if you've read it. But I don't even know what to rate it because it was interesting, it was unique, and it's a British-based book, so you're listening to British words and British accents, which I think is good for kids to kind of hear a variety of accents and terminology, but it was too long. It just wasn't getting to the point, so we said, forget it. And then we took our Christmas break, and when we came back, the first book we did was The Saracen Steed. This is by Arthur Anthony Glad. This is a level 8 from The Good and the Beautiful. And I found the language really difficult to read. I found that the words were just very difficult to say. And usually, I think the level 8s are usually not that difficult, but this one was for sure. But it's a story of a boy who lives near an abbey. He works the fields near an abbey, and when the Saracens come and they're trying to save the abbey and Christendom and all this. So it went along with our Story of the World Volume 2, as well as my son's guest hollow Whirlwind History. And I really liked it. I gave this book, I would say 4.5 if I could, maybe, so 4 out of 5 if I'm just doing whole stars, because it was based on historical events. It had adventure, it had good value and story and morals to it, but it was interesting as well. And so I would recommend this one. I think this is one that's worth reading if you can get past the language. So I would say older children for this, like minimum grade 6 maybe, if you want them to fully understand the book. Then we did a audiobook, and I'm going to get the name wrong, but I'll put it on the screen for you. It was about King Arthur. I thought my kids would be really excited about this, and they weren't. We listened to, I think, about 2.5 hours, and they were just kind of like, it's interesting, but And I thought, you know what? I want my kids to enjoy books. There's a time for classics. There's a time for books they enjoy, and we read a lot of good books like this one. And so I thought I'm going to leave it. Maybe we'll come back to it at some point, but we just let that one go. So I don't know. They like the movies somewhat, so all the TV shows and movies made from Arthur, but they just particularly didn't like that book. So we went on to our next one, which is The Golden Hawks of Genghis Khan by Rita Ritchie. This is a level 8 from the Good and the Beautiful library as well. This one is difficult language, but nowhere near like the other one. I feel this was much easier to read. And I really liked this book and gave it a 5 out of 5. And I gave it that rating for a few reasons. One is it's a good historical fiction book. It has the names of actual locations in history and kind of the culture and events of the time. It also has a lot of adventure and excitingness or excitement later on in the book. The beginning is a bit slower, but once you get into it, it's exciting and you want to get to the end. I actually had two children take the book and read ahead and finish the book because they wanted to know what happened. So to me, that's a sign that it's a good book. But also, I feel like the Mongols always have such negative things written about them. And this book is not like that. It has some of that, but then it counters that with family and courage and strength and friendship and a real emphasis on those. And so I felt like it was different than other kind of historical Mongol books that we read. So I really do like that one and I highly recommend it. So that's what we've been reading in terms of read alouds. So now I'll show you what my kids picked out. So my 7-year-old, when I asked him to choose a book he really liked, he chose Spy X Family. All of my kids love Spy X Family, the show, the books. My 16-year-old even got some of these books for Christmas. They just all really enjoy manga and this kind of thing right now. And then I asked my daughter to grab some. She chose this one here, The Bad Guys. Her and my 7-year-old have been reading these. I think maybe one or two of the older kids as well. They've been enjoying them. And then she also chose this book here, which is the third book in the series, A Town Called Perfect, A Place Called Perfect, that's the name. Yeah, so the first book is A Place Called Perfect. The second one is The Trouble with Perfect. You can see that from the glare. And then this is the third one, which is called The Battle for Perfect. So my daughter found the first book at the library, read it so fast and loved it. She got the second book from the library and then they didn't have the third book. So she was actually gifted this from someone, which she was so appreciative of, and she read it very quickly. She said, you have to tell these people that it's not just a good book, it's a great book. So from my 10-year-old daughter, she highly recommends this series. Then my 13-year-old, he said that he really enjoyed Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods. Percy Jackson is kind of a favorite of my boys. My two older kids, 14 and 16-year-old, lots of manga. They read books for school, but they said there wasn't anything they truly loved lately. Just kind of more the casual type books. So, then me. I listen to quite a few audiobooks and I read some physical books. And there were quite a few I've read over the last few months. So I picked out, how many is there here? 1, 2, and two series that I gave 5 stars to, all of these that I really liked. So the first one is called Birds in Flight, and it's by Annie Taylor. It is a book that takes place primarily in Australia, and it's about family and friendship and the things you don't know about your family members and the things you don't. Things can be seen one way, but that's not necessarily the way they actually are. It has a bit of a mystery to it because I like mystery and murder mysteries and such. And I just found it really interesting and a lot of relationship stuff between sisters and family. So I really did enjoy that book and I recommend that one. If you want something a little bit more, not so murdersome, I guess. I really like murder mysteries. I don't know why. But I listened to a series called Simple Gifts by Charlotte Hubbard. It's a series of 3 books about 3 sisters who are Amish and about their life. Basically, one book is about each sister. Simple Gifts, I think, was the first one. Can't remember, I think second one, and the third one was Simple Christmas. It's just about their lives and about, there's some small scandals and challenges and questions, but it's just a wholesome, good experience, I guess. I just enjoyed them. They were nice listening books. So there's those. The other 2 that I have for you are Christmas books. The first is Miracle Creek Christmas by Krista Lynn Jensen. Kind of like, if you like Hallmark movies, you'll probably like this book. It's very family and friend oriented, love, but without being too descriptive, I guess. Just a really nice story. I felt like it wasn't quite as cheesy as some Hallmark movies, that the author did a good job of keeping it non-cheesy while being a nice Christmas love story and family story. So check that one out if you're interested in that. The other one is a series. It's called A Christmas Tree Farm Mystery. That's the series name. I listened to books 1 and 2, 12 Sleighs of Christmas, and 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. These are the ones that were free with the Audible Plus membership. There are, I think there's like another 3, maybe even 4 books in this series, so I may listen to those in the future. But basically, small town, tree farm type business, and there's a murder. But it was done in a really good way. Like, you really couldn't tell who it was until the end, and it wasn't gory, it wasn't overly descriptive, it wasn't too much. And of course, there's the love story and love interest. So those are the books that I gave 5 stars to out of the last couple months. Hopefully that's given you some ideas both for the read alouds as well as for kids and maybe books for yourself. Let me know in the comment section down below what you're reading, both yourself, your kids, your homeschool, whatever. What are you loving right now, or what have you just read that you absolutely loved? Because I am always looking for suggestions. Otherwise, I hope that this finds you having a great day. Take care.